Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Wednesday, July 10th, 2024, post market wrap up. So look, here we stand, you and me, sit, whatever you're doing, frolicking around the room. I can see you. Um, it's disturbing. This bothers me. Okay, this market is. Look, I take no pride or anything in saying that you and I have been so absolutely spot on with regard to the market, everything connected to it, what's happening to the population, this the current environment. Um, it's unbelievable. But again, me and all of us, none of us here are smarter than anybody else. It's just too easy. It's too simple to understand what's happening and why. Today we got yet another record high for this market. That makes six all-time highs in a row out of the last nine trading days. We don't get drops in this market anymore. And you know what this is all about. Did you watch the 10-year yield today? Are you watching the dollar today lower? Um, the mechanism behind this and the lies that we're hearing from more Federal Reserve members. Oh, we may do this and we may do that. We might not. They're in the market buying all the debt right here and right now, and we can see it with our own eyes. It's astonishing how, you watch Bloomberg, Fox Business, CNBC, and how they're literally trying to convince you that what you are seeing, what you're feeling, what you're hearing is not happening. They don't believe what's happening. No, then they tell you what's going on here. Again, just thanks, Mitch. I mean, look, okay. I have been saying, you and I have covered here how this environment of distortions is going to get monumentally worse moving forward. And people are sitting back here. I I don't know what they're doing. They just sit back, and this is historically true, and allow themselves to be destroyed. They take no action, and some people are surrendering to it, and that's the goal. What we have here again, I want you to think about what I just said. A series of record highs for this market. Meanwhile, this is Forbes. This is Forbes. Let me read this to you. Living paycheck to paycheck. 78% of Americans right now are living paycheck to paycheck. It's a 6% increase over the previous year. Let me explain something to you. This phenomenon is going to get dramatically worse. What's happening here to the stock market is very simple. The market is pricing in a couple of things. The market is a forward-looking animal. You understand? That's how you and I, are able to call things before they happen. It's not a hard thing to do. It doesn't take a crystal ball or any kind of magic spell here, okay? We understand the mechanism now. The market is pricing in a much, much, much weaker dollar moving forward. That means corporate profits are going to be a lot bigger. That means, again, inflation is going to continue, although they're going to tell you, as they're doing now, inflation is getting better. Inflation is softening. Nothing could possibly be farther from the truth. Look, again, at the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. We're going straight up. Jeffrey knows exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly. It makes sense, Jeffrey, if you think about the situation here. The market right now is absolutely disconnected from any kind of reality. I think we've been on the same page for a very long time. The gap between where the market is and the economy, this gap is going to continue to widen. We are literally off the charts here. This gap is going to eventually be filled. But what they're doing here, it's a wipeout. It's an extermination of the middle class. You want to see it in real time? 78% of people living paycheck to paycheck. Jen, how about this one? This is Reuters from today. Gen Z consumers in the United States rely on parents as inflation squeezes budgets. People, again, mortgage demand. Thank you, Mama Bear 112. People cannot come up with enough cash to put down on a house. They're borrowing from their credit cards like we've never seen before. Household debt, personal debt, consumer debt. You and I nailed this to the wall from how long ago? I said this with balloon here. So according to Reuters here, Gen Z adults in the United States face increasing financial challenges because of inflation and rising living costs, with 46% of Gen Z relying on financial assistance from their parents and other family members. This is a report by our favorite Wall Street superbank, Bank of America, which I believe is a cesspool. Okay. Avoid Bank of America like the plague here right now. I've said a lot about Bank of America. And we have so much more to talk about. But anyway, here, look. We're seeing this before our eyes. What's happening here, how this is playing out. America has become Enron. If you've never seen Enron, the smartest guys in the room, I want you to watch that tonight. You will see what's happening here. This was the largest corporate bankruptcy ever. Okay. America and the world actually have become Enron. And this, look, this thing here, this banks with this mark-to-market accounting, I believe sincerely, if this isn't already happening, it's going to be. Now, a lot of you wrote to me today and wanted me to cover this a little bit more. So I sent this out to you. It's in your inbox. If you subscribe to my free newsletter, link in description of this video. Let me read this to you. And then I want to cover this a little bit more. So I wrote, Lions and Friends, if banks are allowed to implement a mark-to-market. Many people have heard mark-to-market. It's an extremely simple concept to understand. Just follow along with me. If they're allowed to implement this mark-to-market accounting scheme, and this appears highly likely to me if it's not happening already, okay, these banks are going to be able to book profits on whatever, like an investment bank. That's what we're talking about here. On let's say they just conjure up some kind of an idea. Let's invest in whatever they want to come up with. And all of a sudden they can say, okay, so we're going to predict that future profits are X amount of zeros. So they book that they put it on their books. This is profit now, even though it hasn't made a single dime. What happens is now the executives at these corporations, they can get a larger bonus off of that. You know, this is really outlined in the Enron scandal. So watch it. Anyway, let me go through this. So this accounting scheme, it appears highly likely banks will be able to book profits now on potential gains. And I wrote, this is pure insanity. Moreover, these potential future profits can be whatever they want. As I described to you, they can just make it up out of nothing. Does that sound familiar? Like what the Fed is doing right now? Creating cash out of nothing, issuing debt through one door, buying it back through another, massively inflationary, then lying to all of us via the propaganda machinery that they're in the fight of their lives. They're fighting inflation because it was temporary and it was transitory. Remember all that? Where's the uprising? Why are people not taking to the streets? You know why? Because they have no clue what's going on. And they're waiting for some kind of savior deity in the form of a Biden or a Trump to save them from what's coming. And invariably, you want to go back on history and look at these kinds of things, how they've played out. They've always played out miserably. Anyway, so what I wrote here, this whole thing, okay, is part of, I believe, a scam. This whole thing is a scam. This whole thing is a fraud. So why not take it to the next level with this mark-to-market, allowing the banks to do this? Again, this is a consolidation. You have to understand that what's going on here. We all know what's going on here. Again, you and me, before anybody else, called this out with no loans, no deposits for the smaller institutions and the larger ones too. No loans, no deposits, no anything, no deals. So the entire banking system is in free fall. We all know that. No one's being told that this is happening. And now they're going to resort to this mark-to-market to allow the larger institutions to thrive, I suppose, via some fantasy kind of accounting, while the smaller institutions collapse. All this is a consolidation of power. A slave system, people. Anyway, who's going to be responsible when all of this fails? Okay, these mark-to-market, all these profits that never happen, and most of these things are going to fail anyway. You are. Again, the people will become responsible for it. That's what I wrote here. I'm just reading some of the stuff I wrote. Mark-to-market, much more debt, obviously, and people are going to be responsible for this, for bailing out the system again. And all this is a wipeout. It's an extermination. How do I say this another way? Anyway, you want to see it in your face here. What's going on here? People are going to lose it all, and people are losing it all. 78% of Americans can't get by. People, Gen Z having to borrow from their parents who also can't get by. Meanwhile, stock market record high, record high, record high, record high. People are being wiped out. But again, the market's doing good. And all these people out there, these paper millionaires, unless they follow this blog, they're done. They're going to have no clue when to get out of here. You and me, we're going to know exactly when to get out of here, because while everyone's sitting there looking at the freaking stock market and the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, when they're all looking at that, you and me are looking at the debt market, because that is the vehicle that is propping everything else up. I tell you, man, this is going to end in tragedy for so many people. And again, I was just going back and forth with these defeatist people. There's some people that have surrendered. Again, go check out my Substack, my free newsletter down here. Going back and forth with this guy who has, you can see people have surrendered. Oh, Greg is in fantasy land. People aren't coming together. This is so, I don't need people like that here. I need lions here. People who are here to take action, who are not going to sit back and surrender. Okay, if you don't, you're all lions. Every single one. I call you my friends and lions. You're all lions out here, because you're all taking action. You're taking action in multiple ways. Maybe you're not buying the market. Maybe you're not in the stock market, but at least you do. You're increasing your knowledge base, and that alone gives you an insurmountable edge over 99% of the people out here who have no idea of what's happening to them, how it's happening to them, why it's happening to them. They're looking for someone. My vote counts so much, and I'm going to vote for the right person, and they're going to save me. How's that working out for you so far? You think it's going to change? The definition of insanity is seeing the same things play out to a much worse degree, and they're expecting that things are going to change. You're going to be kidding me. We, the people here, are supposed to govern ourselves. Instead, what's happening here is you have people surrendering, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you. I will never surrender. I will die first, and I know 99% of you will too. But what they have coming for us here, again, putting politics aside, whatever thing they stick behind the Resolute desk. Number one, remember on election day, selection day, that whoever that is should be in the tattoo parlor having traitor tattooed across their head. Okay, because that's who they're going to be. Someone that is going to play ball with the Federal Reserve. Someone that's telling us that they're going to devalue the dollar. That's telling us they're going to allow the Fed to empower themselves even more so. Yeah, that's what we're going to get here. And that ain't helping you or nobody else. Sure, it's going to help the Federal Reserve. Sure, it's going to help the corporate agenda. Ain't helping you. You're going to end up in this slave system where we're seeing what you and I have called for how freaking long. This is what makes me crazy. All right. And again, none of us have to lose here. And this transcends the financial markets. Look, I like playing the markets. I am in here. I am in these markets in every aspect of them. Okay. You want to see the market? Look at me. That's who I am. I am a market guy, but I am a people person here. I want us to love each other, to care about each other, to come together to each other, to support each other, to have each other's backs. Is that such a bad thing? If we can do this, that's all we got. These politicians and all their freaking backdoor meetings and private meetings that they have with Wall Street fat cats, which they all have. They all do that. Do you realize that both Trump and Biden and every other freaking one of these things, they all go to Wall Street first before they go to you? How does that make you feel? Mitch knows what I'm talking about. Tyler knows what I'm talking about. It's crazy, people. People are going to lose it all. Not you and me, though, okay? We are in a different class here because we're smart. We understand the system, and we're utilizing the system We're weaponizing it against those that are trying to kill us. We're staying long this market while people are calling for crash and crash and crash and crash and crash. You know how much cash has been made here by people that follow this blog at the same time buying suppressed assets, loading up on commodities, gold and silver, platinum, palladium, commodities across the board, and yes, cryptocurrencies. The setup here is too easy. It's too easy. But most people are being, let me explain this to you. Okay. There's a lot of people out here on YouTube who have day jobs, who whatever the freak that they do. Okay. But they play themselves off as a market expert. They are not. Be very careful who you're listening to, because they're the same people that have told the people to do nothing and left them paralyzed like a deer in the headlights. Well, this whole system here, has been doing nothing but provide opportunity for people who know how to take advantage of it. Jeffrey's one of them. Exactly. The quiet revolution, because we're sitting here, you and me, and we're looking at the situation and we are taking advantage of it at the same time, coming together, realizing that we are not each other's enemies from wherever we are in the world, whatever color our skin is, or whatever religion you may follow, or whatever it might be. This is a family here. Do you realize there's over 250,000 people that follow this blog, and we're a family, and they're from different races and backgrounds and ages and whatever else it might be. These are people I believe that we can all count on. We can count on each other because we built something beautiful, in my view. Anyway, look, I'm sitting here preaching to the choir, but anyway, it kind of makes me sick, though, to a certain degree, to see this market just defy gravity the way that it's been. Again, it's pricing in the weaker dollar. It's pricing in what the central banks are going to do to all of us here. They are the overlords. You understand? And we cannot be free anywhere around the world. Freedom is an illusion if we have to live under their rulership. They have become the overlords. You and me, we are forced to participate in their system. Does that make you sick? It really should. It really should. I tell you, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy as crazy can be. Anyway, that's kind of where we're at, people. I don't know what else to say. We got to look out for each other. I can't even read half of this stuff that I wrote here. But watch for tonight's homework assignment. Really, people. Enron, the smartest guys in the room. You watch that and you see the similarities as to what's happening here around the world. And the people who believed in Enron, they got wiped out. They got wiped out. But this is a worldwide phenomenon here. And it's crazy. We're witnessing. But again, we got an edge here that I believe is insurmountable. And we can't be beaten, not just because we have a tool like the MMR, because we have each other. And I will never let you down, any one of you. There's no way I can be bought or anything. I come out here and I tell people what I feel, whether you agree with me or not, whatever. Okay, I'm a real guy, and I'm out here not reading a script like these freaking imbeciles, okay, on the mainstream media who pretend to be market people, whoever they are. Then they dress up some freak that they pull off the street and tell them to tell you a story. It's all fake, all of it. Anyway, people, we're kind of there. All right. With regard to all this, from every avenue, we got this covered. Everyone. And I love that. Anyway, that's going to be it, people, for today. Unless all of you want to cover anything, let me just see here. Axiom Curb, how are you, bro? Good to see you. Magic Meek, hey, you're here. All my friends are here. Lava was here earlier. I'm not talking about Mummy, man. I'm not even doing that anymore. I can't do it. It poisons your soul, some of this stuff, and I just can't let that happen. It's just must gonna let it happen. All right, people. Look, we got this. We got it down. You know what your homework assignment is. Watch Enron, the smartest guys in the room, and I see how it worked out for them and the people that believed in the system they were being told was real, and the lies, the bold-faced lies that came out of the mouths of the management of Enron, just like we're seeing now with regard to governments, which are not what they seem to be. Let me ask you, if you were beamed down here from another planet, let's just say planet X. Okay, you're beamed down here from planet X, and you had and you were exposed to this system, and you found out that there was an institution that controls the economy, that controls the financial markets, that controls the financial system, the flow of cash through the world economy. Wouldn't you say that's world control? Yeah, that's the central banks. It's not the Trumps or the Bidens or anybody else. Whoever controls the cash or the debt in this case runs the world. The rest of it is a sitcom. It's a show that is destroying people who are being led to the slaughter by those same people they believe in. It's an astonishing thing. It's just a planet, Greg. All right, people, look, I'm out of here. Love you a lot. I don't think I'm going to make it down to the track. I was going to hit Showtime later on, do some drag racing, but this weather ain't looking good. I'm looking out my window right over here. Very cloudy. So unfortunately, that's not going to be any fun. But I'll see all of you in the morning, all right? So until you and me, until we meet again, people, what are we going to do? We are going to take care of each other more than before, ourselves and each other, because we are a worldwide family. And I'm going to urge you to please share the video. Please share it. Get it out there. Let people hear this stuff. We together can, and we are making a positive difference in this world. All this other stuff really doesn't mean too much now, does it? Can't take it with you, can us? But we can take our love with us. I really believe that. Anyway, I'm out of here. See you in the morning.